Hey guys, in this video I'm going to show you how to play the minor pentatonic shape number 2. Hey guys, Matt here, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing really well. So in this video we're going to be taking a look at the minor pentatonic shape number 2. Along with actually learning the shape, we'll also check out a few exercises to help you visualize the shape on the fretboard. So let's jump into it. Okay, so for this example, we're going to be working in the key of A minor, and on the basis that you know your pentatonic shape number 1, we're going to use that to help us learn shape number 2. If you're not sure how to play shape number 1 or you're still unfamiliar with it, check out the link above where I've done a video tutorial on the first shape. But on the basis that you can visualize those notes in the key of A on the fretboard for shape number 1, what we're going to do is we're going to focus on the second note on each string within that shape 1, and that's actually going to form the lower part of shape number 2. So from knowing shape number 1, you already actually know how to play half of shape number 2. So I'm going to map out those notes for you now. So here is the second note in shape number 1 on the 6th string. Here's the second note on the 5th string in shape number 1. And the 4th string. The 3rd string. The 2nd string. And the 1st string. So if I highlight those notes now in yellow, you can see the lower part of shape number 1, which I've highlighted in red, and the upper part of shape number 1, which I've highlighted in yellow. Now these yellow dots are going to form the lower part of shape number 2. So if we can visualize those notes, we know where the starting point is on each string in order to learn shape number 2. And all we need to then know is how far along the fretboard we go on each string. So now we're going to start on the note C, which is that second note on the 6th string, and that will be our starting position for the second shape. And we're going to use the middle finger for C on fret number 8. And then we're going to bring on the pinky for fret number 10, which is the note D. So in shape number 1, when we played C before, we played D on the 5th string on the 5th fret. So all we're doing now is just playing that same note D, but up here on the 10th fret on the 6th string. Okay, moving on to the 5th string. Again, if we can visualize that pattern, we now know we've got to go back to the 7th fret on the 5th string, and then we're going to go as far as fret number 10, and that will take us from E all the way up to G. So on the 6th string we had C and D, on 8 and 10, and on the 5th string we had E and G, which was 7 to 10. Okay, jumping on to the 4th string. Okay, again, from knowing shape number 1, we know where the starting point is, which is fret number 7 on the 4th string, so that's A, and then we're going to go as far as the 10th fret, which will take us up to C. And if you're familiar with some of the notes on the fretboard, you'll remember that when you play shape 1, you have that pattern of A to C, and we're actually doing the same thing here on the 4th string, A to C, so you'll recognize that same jump from the root note up to the minor 3rd, in this case, which is C. Okay, moving on to the 3rd string, we're going to grab the 7th fret, again, because we can visualize that upper part of shape number 1, so we know where to start here. So that'll be fret 7, and we're going to go as far as fret number 9, so those notes are D to E. Alright, so there's a couple of little jumps there to contend with, and generally speaking, shape number 2 is probably one of the hardest shapes to learn out of the minor pentatonic scale, but that's why it's really useful if you know shape number 1. As I said before, that will give you half of shape number 2 already. So we just need to work out where those little jumps are in the upper part of shape number 2. So far we have this on the 6th string, 8 to 10. On the 5th string we have 7 to 10. On the 4th string we also have 7 to 10. On the 3rd string we don't go quite as far, we go 7 to 9. Okay, now moving on to the 2nd string, again, if you can visualize that top part of shape number 1, you'll remember that we jumped to the 8th fret on the 2nd string for G. And then we're going to go up to the pinky on the 10th fret for the A. On the 1st string, we're going to have the exact same pattern, fret number 8 to fret number 10, that's C to D. Incidentally, that's exactly the same as what we do on the 6th string. So really, you only have to learn 5 strings, and when you get to string 1, as long as you remember what you did on string 6, it's exactly the same. Okay, so if we play that all the way through, shape number 2 looks like this. Now you don't have to use those finger positions that I'm using there, but it's just generally helpful to sort of master the shape, because what we end up doing is hovering a finger above each fret. So we kind of allocated a finger to a fret rather than sort of constantly jumping around. Once you've got the shape down, you can obviously play around with different finger positions and whatnot. But whilst you're getting to grips with the shape, I'd recommend lining the fingers up, and then you can kind of learn the shape from a bit of muscle memory, as well as thinking about what the notes are as well. There's only 5, so you've got A, C, D, E, and G, but in this case we're just starting from that second note of the scale, but all the notes obviously work out to be the same, just starting from the second note. So we've got C, D, E, G, there's our root A, then there's the C again, there's the D again, E, we've got G, A, and then C, D on the first string. Now it's also worth practicing going the other way, so descending back down the scale. So starting with the pinky, so that'll be 10 down to 8. Same on the second string, 10 down to 8. Third string, 9 down to 7. Fourth string, 10 down to 7. Fifth string, 10 down to 7. And then the sixth string, 10 down to 8. Okay, so let's check out some exercises that we can use to help connect shape number 1 with shape number 2. So this first little exercise I'm going to show you is just a little hammer-on slide pull-off exercise where we start inside shape number 1 and move across into shape number 2 on each string and then back down into shape number 1. So if we grab the root note inside shape number 1 on the 5th fret of the 6th string, then we're going to hammer on to fret number 8 with our pinky, then we're going to slide up to D, and then we're going to slide back down and then pull off. So here's the hammer on. Okay, and then we'll add in the slide up to fret 10. Okay, and then we're going to slide back down from 10 to 8. And then at the very end, we'll use that pinky to pull off to the first finger. Now, not only will that help you to sort of visualize and learn the shapes connected together, but also it's a great little exercise in itself for your left hand. So you're kind of, doing a couple of little things at the same time there in terms of your technical development, learning the scale shape and developing that left hand even further by incorporating some different techniques into that scale practice. So on the 5th string, if we take that same exact idea, we're going to grab the 5th fret on the 5th string, hammer on to 7 for shape number 1, and then slide all the way up to 10, and then we'll slide back down to 7, and then pull off to 5, like so. It's a slightly bigger jump there on the 5th string from 7 all the way up to 10, but then we're going to do the same thing on the 4th string. So if we put that together so far, we have this. Okay, moving on to the 3rd string, we're going to hammer on from 5 to 7, slide up to 9, back down to 7, and then pull off back to 5. All right, on the 2nd string, we've got that wider jump from 5 to 8, and then we're going to slide up to 10, back down to 8, and then pull off to 5. And then it's the same pattern on the 1st string as well. Okay, so you could do that ascending and you can also do that descending as well, just to really help visualize those notes on the fretboard and connecting that first shape to shape number 2. So here it is ascending and then descending. Okay, so another cool little exercise we can do using that same sort of idea is to tap the higher note in shape number 2, either using the first finger or the middle finger, depending on which finger you prefer for tapping. So on the 6th string, we'll do the same sort of thing again. We'll hammer onto the pinky, but then we'll tap the 10th fret, so that higher note in shape number 2, and then pull that back off to the little finger and then back down to the first finger. So it's going to sound very similar, but just using a different technique to execute the same notes. So you can either start this lick off by using the tapping finger and just pulling off to the first finger, or you can use your first finger to hammer on that first note like so. Okay, whichever one you want to do, doesn't really matter. I'm going to use my first finger to hammer on the note and then hammer on with the pinky. So if we do that on the 6th string, that will sound like this. Okay, on the 5th string, it'll be the same sort of thing again. If you remember the notes from before, we'll hammer on from 5 to 7, and then we'll tap the 10th fret on the 5th string. So that will sound like this. On the 4th string, it'll be exactly the same pattern. So 5, 7, tap the 10th fret. Okay, on the 3rd string, same as before, 5 to 7, but then we'll tap the 9th fret and then pull off back to 7, back to 5. Okay, on the 2nd string, we've got 5, 8 again, and then we'll tap the 10th fret. So we've got to make that little jump back to the 10th fret. And then lastly, on the 1st string, we've got the same pattern again, 5 to 8, and then tap the 10th fret. So all together we have this. There's lots of variations you can play around with on the tapping idea, for example. So yeah, just have some fun with it and, you know, come up with your own ideas as well. There's just a few there that you can use to help you visualize and learn shape number 2. Well, there we have it, guys. I hope you found this video useful. If you did, click the like and subscribe button and hit the bell icon so you get notifications on all my future videos. If you'd like to practice the scale along with the backing track that you heard me jamming to at the beginning, stick around to the end of this video and you'll be able to click on the link to my backing track in the key of A minor. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.